Dick Van Dyke has spent nearly 8 decades in Hollywood, and somehow he still can't wait to get out of bed in the morning. People stop him in grocery stores and on street corners, asking how he always seems so cheerful. But here's the thing nobody talks about. Even the happiest man in show business has had his patience seriously tested. Today, we're looking at 5 people who genuinely got under Dick's skin, and what happened next says everything about the kind of man he is. Our first stop is England, 1968, on the freezing, rain-soaked set of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang. Director Ken Hughes was talented, no question, but he had a sharp tongue that could cut right through you. One afternoon, standing just outside a director's tent, Dick reportedly overheard Hughes make a dismissive crack about his appearance to a producer nearby. It stung. For a few minutes, Dick admits he wanted to walk straight in and say something. Instead, he pulled his hat down, stepped back into the rain, and delivered the best performance he could. No confrontation, no lingering grudge, just professionalism, and eventually, the ability to tell that story with a laugh, rather than a wound. Then there's director George Sidney, and the 1963 film Bye Bye Birdie. Dick had originated the role of Albert Peterson on Broadway, and was thrilled to reprise it on screen, until it became clear that Sidney was completely captivated by his young co-star Anne Margaret. Scenes were restructured, camera time was redirected, and Dick and Janet Leigh increasingly felt like supporting players in what was supposed to be their story. But Dick made a conscious choice. His frustration was with the director's decisions, not with his talented co-star. He showed up to the premiere in his tuxedo, praised the film genuinely, and let go of the rest. Perhaps the most surprising name on this list is Walt Disney himself. During pre-production on Mary Poppins, Dick was already cast as Bert, but he desperately wanted to also play the ancient, grumbling banker Mr. Dawes Sr. Walt said no. Dick begged, pleaded, and even did impromptu impressions right there in Disney's office. Walt wouldn't budge, so Dick did something extraordinary. He wrote a personal check for $4,000 and offered to pay for his own screen test. Walt laughed, accepted the check, watched the audition, and was so impressed he gave Dick the role and returned every dollar. That stubbornness became one of the fondest collaborations of Dick's career. On The Dick Van Dyke Show, early tensions between Rose Marie and the rising Mary Tyler Moore quietly threatened the magic of the ensemble. Dick refused to take sides, consistently championed both women, and let time do the rest. Years later, at a cast reunion, the 2 women embraced on stage with tears streaming down their faces. Some wounds, given enough love and patience, actually heal completely. And finally, a more recent chapter, a brief Twitter exchange with British commentator Piers Morgan after a post Dick felt was needlessly cruel toward young people. His response? A single screenshot of himself from Diagnosis Murder, delivering the most perfectly exhausted stare ever captured on film. No argument. No drama, just one image and a quiet logout. 8 decades in, the lesson is beautifully simple. Forgive fast, laugh often, and never let bitterness take up space where joy could live instead. If that resonates with you, hit like and subscribe. There's plenty more where that came from.